Hello, and welcome to another newsletter from Construction Programs and Results. I'm Michael Stone, and I will be sharing our newsletter with you. Feedback that I'm getting from our coaching clients is that they are busy to very busy, and like most other contractors, they are looking for good people who are also looking for a good job. If you want to attract good people, pay top dollar in your area for the job they will do for you. Yes, you can afford this approach. The customer is paying the bill, not you. This has nothing to do with affordability. It has everything to do with your improving your sales skills so that you can charge a higher price for your work. That includes the increased salary or wages for your employees. Our newsletter today deals with sales issues that you will run into at some point in your sales career. I have run into each of these several times and can offer solutions to these problems that work based on trial and error. Sales, setting ground rules. When you're selling remodeling or specialty services, you're often put in situations that require a quick judgment call. These situations give you the opportunity to set the ground rules for the relationship. Handled properly, your client will understand how you do business and you will be able to determine if it's a project you want to pursue. I'll walk you through 3 examples. The first example is the client dictating the price. You're on a sales call and the client tells you, I'm only going to pay 10% overhead and profit for this job. And when they see you're taken aback, they add, I also want a complete itemization of your proposal. You can email it to me. Oh, joy. If you've been in construction-related sales very long, you've had this happen. Too many potential clients believe they get to decide how you price your work. Let me share a response that keeps you in charge of the situation without stepping on the client's ego. When they state they'll only pay 10% overhead and profit, you can say, okay, or don't respond at all. There isn't any need to respond. Keep the conversation going by throwing questions at them to get their mind off the idea that they'll tell you how to price your jobs. They don't know what markup you'll use on your work. They have no idea whether you're charging 10% or 200% overhead and profit. How would they know? They aren't in our business. They have no way of knowing the cost of building the job or what it costs you to run your company. It isn't worth discussing. Just move on. Now, the demand for complete itemization requires your attention, as does the email request. The sooner you let your client know how you conduct business, the better. Start with, let me explain how we work. Itemization of any kind takes a lot of extra time and work, and I'm happy to do it as long as I'm paid for that service. When I work, I like to be paid for my time, just like you do, Mr. Customer. We charge $150 an hour with a minimum of 4 hours for any itemization we do. I think that's fair, don't you? Their response will tell you if they're interested in a win-win relationship or if they are going to be a royal PITA, and I'll let you figure out what that means. If their response is, how can we know your markup if we don't provide an itemized proposal, it's time to leave. You're dealing with a client whose sole focus is getting the lowest possible price for their work. Do they ask their doctor or their attorney or their dentist for itemization? Do they tell the grocery store what price they're willing to pay for the groceries? You're a business, not an hourly laborer, and they aren't entitled to your private business information. It is proprietary. Let another contractor build a job and lose money. You don't need that. As for sending your quote by email, that works if you're an order taker, hoping to be the lowest price. If you don't want the work, email your quote. If you want to make this sale, explain that you want to sit down with them to review the proposal and answer any questions they might have and move on with the job. If they're not willing to do that, it's because they don't want to make a decision or because they weren't serious about the work in the first place. Politely ask them to let you know when they're ready to review the job with you and make a decision. When they do, you'll be glad to come back and go over the job details and your quote for their work. This separates serious potential clients from tire kickers and time wasters. Second example, distracted clients. You're on a sales call and the client keeps answering their phone or texting a friend and while you're reviewing their job. You have two choices. Do nothing and let them waste your time, or politely address the situation. For example, may I ask you to turn that phone off while we're working on your job? I have limited time and I know this job is important to you. I want to get the information we need so we can determine if we can do this project for you. It will only be a few more minutes, and unless it's an emergency, I'm sure the others won't mind if you get back to them after I'm gone. Their response will tell you if you have an interested client or someone just looking for prices or ideas with no intention of doing business. If it's the latter, it's time to leave. Third example is having one client with two contractors. You're on a sales call, talking with the owner, when another contractor shows up. They missed your appointment, so they have just decided to join in with yours. What happens next? The owner might want to keep on going with the other contractor in tow, asking you to wait a minute while I catch contractor B up on where we are at. Do you really want to put up with that nonsense? There's no way in the world the client is going to make a buying decision with two contractors there. Your time is being wasted. Here's how I would handle it. I would say something like, "Excuse me, contractor B, this was my appointed time. I'm sure you can call back at a later time and reschedule your own appointment with our potential customer. Now, if you will excuse us, we'd like to continue." Now, if the other contractor doesn't take the hint and leave, then I would leave. You aren't going to make the sale anyway. Are you being rude? No. You're setting the standard under which you're willing to work. If you don't set it, contractor B or the owner will. Your choice. I've given short responses here to each of these situations. We go in depth on these other situations in our book, Profitable Sales: A Contractor's Guide. If you're in sales and haven't read it, you should. If you've already read it, read it again. All three scenarios happen on sales calls, and they happen because clients don't value our time or rank us in their list of professional service providers. You must be a good steward of your time and insist others respect your time as well. Focus on clients you can do business with, not clients who waste your time. Thanks again for watching, and may the profits be with you.